guys, I'm here. We're back with more reading fanfics. And we're back with Five Nights of Harry, Chapter 4. Last time we left off, um, we had to deal with Tonks, who was pretending to be a muggle and when being a night guard when actually she was spying. It was very chaotic. Um, yeah. Oh yeah, and Chica thinks Remus is a pervert. So, yeah. And yeah. I also don't know how long this video is gonna be. It depends on how long this chapter is. Oh boy, let's see how long it's. Ooh, I don't know. Okay. Let's get started. Just so we clear. Um. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. If you want to check out the other videos, uh, there's not a playlist, but there should be. You should be able to find. Just search Tighebo reads fanfic, and I believe I put the name of the fanfic in there. I don't know. You'll have to look. But oh, and link to the chapter will be in the description below, so you can follow along with us. Yay! Okay, let's get started. Harry sat in a chair at one of the tables before he glanced at the kitchen door, where Chica had retreated to get away from the pervert. That's in quotation marks. Something which still brought a smile to his face and mine, as he recalled Remus's expression at being called such. And speaking of expressions, the team looked towards Tonks, who had not stopped glaring at him. You know that if you don't stop, he might freeze that way, right? A smile split her face. You made my life bloody hell these past few nights on purpose, you jackass! However, Harry was nonplussed as he wagged a finger. Him? You mean her. Her. You've you've been spying on me for at least the past few days for someone. Call even and leave it at that. Ooh, he's got you there. He's got you there. He then noted that Sirius was leaning back and just watching him with a depressed look. Something the matter? With a wince, Sirius sighed. Not with you, just me screwing up again. He then looked up with an unhappy look on his face. If we had not agreed to explain things to you, would have really, you know, all he got was a raised eyebrow. Throwing you out, or call the Aurors or cops to arrest you for trespassing and stalking if you didn't leave? At the slight nod he got, a scowl crossed his face, and his answer caused winces from both murderers. Yes, I would have. For a few moments, Harry frowned with a thoughtful look before he glanced at a similarly regretful Remus. I may have something that the two of you could give me a hand with that would go a long ways to making it up to me. The two men shared a look before they turned back to Harry and nodded with smiles. A moment later, though, Mad-Eye grunted as his eye focused on the kitchen. Might explain why the chicken is cooking in the kitchen, besides to get away from Lupin. As Remus winced, still not knowing why she kept denouncing him as a pervert, Harry shrugged a bit. Chica cooks when she's nervous and scared. Bonnie looked up from where he was tuning his guitar, or when she's happy, for when he was working and putting tables back into order, Barney chimed in, or when she's angry or frustrated. Finally, Foxy piped up, aye, or when the lass is sad. So basically, she cooks whenever she wants. Like, there is no mood at all for when she cooks. She just cooks. With his lips twitching, Harry chuckled. Basically, she loves to cook. His eyes closed as he leaned back and caught a whiff of pizza. And she's a good cook too, since she's since she had over 20 years of experience. Harry then opened one eye and glanced at her still anchored tongues, which you should know enough about considering the small pieces that you ate. second night were made specifically for you by Chica after the first night. That caused Thomas's anger to melt into confusion. Wait, she made those for me? It was Bonnie who answered her as the rabbit nodded shyly. Yeah, she really felt bad that she scared you so much. So she made them for you to snack on. Now interested, Tonks frowned as she turned in her seat to look at him. Wait, why would you continue to scare me then? Freddie looked over at her. We wanted to make sure that you could deal with anything. And Chica saw you talking with that cat lady. It took everything Sirius had not to snort at what they obviously called McGonagall, as well as the shocked expression on Tonks's face. How we needed to make sure that you weren't a threat to Harry. The order looked between the animatronics and Harry with confusion written across her face. Wait. How the hell did you see that? I checked the cameras and Harry was nowhere near the office and none of you were able to move. From his position, picking up some garbage, Foxy shrugged. And we'd not be telling you at last. We'd be fools to do such a thing. Glare was shot moody by the metamorphagus, as he nodded approvingly. Of course you would, buddy, of course you would. But before she could say anything, they heard footsteps and turned in time to see Dumbledore walk in with a frazzled McGonagall. Harry, my boy! All Harry did, though, was watch him with a frosty expression. Headmaster, how are you tonight? At the raised eyebrow, Harry grunted. Excuse me for my bluntness, but I'm rather annoyed that I've been watched my whole summer, and yet no one could be bothered to talk to me. Makes one rather disgruntled with those around him. A sigh escaped Albus as he shook his head, not looking Harry in the eye. I'm afraid that the blame for that can what? I'm afraid that the blame for that can be. It says me, but I'm sure it's me. Be laid entirely on my shoulders, Harry. I thought that after your ordeal at the end of school year, you would need some time for yourself. While he scowled, Harry glared at him. Right. Just at the time when I needed to be even around those that I cared about the most, you decided to leave me to stew in negative thoughts. He ignored the gasp from McGonagall before he sighed and rubbed his forehead. But that's another issue. You're here about the pizzeria, right? Hayes nodded. Harry was about to say something when the kitchen door was kicked open by Chica, who held pizza in either hand and a small one in her beak. Pizzas, everyone! How the hell is she speaking? I guess voice box, maybe? I don't know. It was then that she noted Dumbledore and McGonagall and blinked. Oh, I hope that I have enough for everyone, including the cat lady. Barely holding back a snort as McGonagall's eyebrow twitched. Harry smiled at her. Oh, I think that you have more than enough, Chica. Right, guys? There was nods and mumbles from everyone, which brought a wide smile from the chicken before she walked over and placed the two large peaches down and took the small one and put it in front of Tonks. And this is for you. A look of surprise. Chica wrung her hands nervously. I'm really sorry about scaring you and everything, Miss Tonks. So I made this pizza just for you to say sorry to you. With a blink, Tonks slowly looked from Chica to the pizza and back. Okay. Why am I reminded of a little girl who's done wrong and expecting to be scowled? She shook it off and smiled shakily. Um, I guess that I can forgive you as long as you don't do it again. Chica's jaw dropped in surprise, which caused a wink from both Tonks and McGonagall. Really? After Tonks nodded, and before the witch could react, Chica grabbed her in a tight hunk and started swinging her around as she bounced on her feet. Uh-oh. Oh, oh, thank you. She stopped, though, as the amused Harry tapped her on the shoulder. Something Harry happened? Harry? As he chuckled, Harry pointed at the struggling Aura. She needs to breathe, Chica. With a yelp, the animatronic dropped her and started to apologize as Tonks gulped down lungfuls of air. However, Tonks just waved off. It's okay, Chica. Still concerned, Chica slowly nodded before she turned towards a nervous McGonagall. Then she looked at the pizza and frowned with a sigh. Uh, um, sorry, Miss Cat Lady, I didn't know that you'd be here. Added some avocados to a pizza for you. When Harry and Sirius burst out laughing as Severus snickered, Chica blinked as she turned towards an embarrassed cat anime. Anime. Old Dumbledore looked on with a slight smile. What did I say? Once everything had calmed down, though, and the laughter had stopped, Harry sighed as he took a bite of pizza. So then, what exactly do you want to know? A slam brought his attention to where Tonks had smacked her open palms on the table as she growled. I want to know what the hell was with making me think that they were going to kill me, especially with you getting someone to record those messages to scare me with. Everything went quiet as the animatronics looked anywhere but at the humans there. Meanwhile, Harry sighed and rubbed his face as he put his half-eaten slice back onto the plate. Tonks. Firstly, I didn't get phone guys to make those calls. What I told you about him was the truth. As for what you went through, I also went through it. But it wasn't a dare in my case. I was in actual danger, Tonks. That caused a silence to descend as expressions of shame crossed the faces of the animatronics. Having noticed, Tonks felt her heart stop, while Sirius looked at each one in shock. You mean to tell me that you actually killed people and were trying to kill my godson? Chica sniffed a bit. We never wanted to hurt anyone. Just that. She stopped as Freddie placed a hand on her shoulder and took over. I know how you almost feel, but you must understand. If we had the choice, then we would have always left the guards alone and just do our own things. But we were never given that choice. We were forced into the roles we were played by something evil that took our lives away. Thanks to Harry and one other, that particular nightmare is now over and will never, hopefully, recur. It looked like Moody was about to say something, but Dumbledore cut him off. You're speaking of the puppet master whose reins Harry sent to Sirius to be disposed of. At the expressions he received, Albus grimaced. I came upon Sirius preparing to destroy what was left of it, and recognized it for what it was. Harry frowned a bit before he narrowed his eyes. You know what that thing was? When he got a nod, he raised a finger. Before we go any further, I have to go and get one last person. She'll want to be here for this. While he watched Harry leave, Rufus frowned a bit. Wonder who he needs to get. Then he noticed that Tonks had paled a bit. I take it that you know? As she gulped, Tonks nodded. He's going to get Golden Freddy, I think. Meanwhile, Moody turned towards Dumbledore with a scowl. I don't like those outbursts. They're not trustworthy, and the fact that they admitted to killing who knows how many makes me wonder when they'll turn on us. The headmaster just continued to watch as Chica scowled at Remus, muttering about pervert. Of course he is. God, you need to let the pervert thing go, Chica. He's not a pervert, trust me. He just looked like that because wizards are prejudiced and not cool. Anyway, I understand where you're coming from, old friend. And while they may be dangerous, they're not so what? They're not so us with the puppet what? Okay, that doesn't make sense. Bus destroyed. Suddenly he turned as he heard two sets of footsteps re-entering the main dining room. And I do believe that the last piece of the puzzle has arrived. While Harry walked towards them, just behind him was Golden Freddy, who observed the group with a familiar pair of green eyes. A pair which soon focused on the two reporters as their animatronic mouth smiled. Well, if it isn't Siri and Remy, aren't the two of you a sight for sore eyes? And I do mean sore eyes, as I can see that Siri hasn't proven any of the looks department over the years. Despite the distortion of the voice, her mannerisms and what she said, along with her eyes, the two wizards raised to their feet and shot. There's W's there. I don't know why. Anyway, then Sirius took a step forward. Rose? Rose Evans? Is that really you? Rose slowly nodded. It's me. Though I can prove that it's me if you want. Both Sirius and Remus shared a look before they nodded. A moment later, Rose pointed at Sirius. He visited where Lily and Annie lived just after his 6th year alongside James. He got bored of those two sucking face in the sitting room, ordered into the kitchen to get some food, and ate some baked goods on the counter. What he didn't know was that they were rather special baked goods left behind by Tina's boyfriend at the time, which ended up with him flying higher than a kite and trying out my mother's clothing and attempting to seduce an oak tree. She was cut off by a flustered Sirius. It's her! The Animagus ignored the stickers from both Tonks and Rose as he made his way over and hugged her. Glad to see you, Rose. What the hell? Me and the others couldn't find you. We thought you were dead. Rose just nodded. And here you are in a costume. Oddly enough, there was a moment before Rose leaned in. Want to know a secret? After she got some nods, she winked. I'm actually deader than a doorknob. Should be pushing up days. Lost all 9 lives. I'm dead, Jim. As one. Sirius, Remus, Tonks, and McGonagall stared at her before saying the same thing. What? When he sat back down, Harry sighed. She's actually dead. Moody frowned a bit as he looked between Harry and Rose before his eyes narrowed while his magical one spun to focus it in on the other animatronics. Is she some kind of inferi? With a shrug, Rose sat down on one of the chairs which groaned under her weight. I don't have the slightest idea whatever that is that you're talking about. As he scratched the side of his head, Harry looked over at her. Think zombies, but brought back with dark magic and unable to cause another person to come on through fighting them. While she tilted her head to think it over, Harry turned to Mad Eye. As to who she is, I'm pretty sure that she isn't, considering from what I know, Inferiors are pretty much mindless, and she certainly is not that. A frown crossed Dumbledore's face as he sighed. And I do believe can be said for the others with you as well. That drew Harry's attention back onto him, and the younger wizard frowned. You said you knew something about the Marionette, Headmaster. Grimacing at the memories, Dumbledore slowly nodded. I do, though we called them puppet masters back during the war with Grindelwald, which is during what the Muggles have called World War II. Closing his eyes, Dumbledore continued on. Many know that Grindelwald had what he called his greater good during the war. The belief that wizards and witches should over all others with Muggles being just above other beings. In fact, he was one of those wizards who helped Nazi Germany get as far as they did during the war. But as they expanded their reach, Grindelwald came to a conclusion. Now intently listening, Alistair leaned towards his old friend. A conclusion, Albus? What sort of conclusion? Dumbledore's eyes opened as he seemed to stare at something far off in the distance. He realized that, large as these armies of followers were, they simply were not large enough. They could not hold their gains for long due to resistant fighters. Even the Germans had issues with that. But then he found a solution. Inferi. Upon having seen Remus about to say something, he raised a hand. I know that they are generally weak, dark creations, with a simple flame spell can drive off. But you must also remember that few Muggle weapons could harm them. With a deepening frown, Harry continued to listen as Dumbledore talked. Grindelwald's Inferi project was to create thinking Inferi who kept their skills, and more than that, they also used Muggle technology to try and make them better fighters. Anything like gears and pistons driven by the necromantic magic that gave the undead their animation. Eventually, though, he had to ask what was on his mind. As disturbing as this is, I'm wondering what this has to do with the man we're in at. A sad smile crossed Dumbledore's face as he watched Harry. I believe that you need some background. You see, for all the brilliance that Grindelwald and his followers had, there was one major issue. Those who would be woken as the partially mechanical and furry would find their minds soon snapping under the realization of their new state of existence. An expression of extreme distress crossed the elderly wizard's face, and it's not as if they had a lack of test subject. It was simply from notes left behind and interrogations I was at that the minds were simply not flexible enough to deal with what happened to them. An issue, it seemed, that adults had. He glanced over at the animatronics, and in particular Rose. Hence why they created the Puppet Masters. They would serve as a control unit, if you would, that would allow the mechanical inferior to use their skills even if the original mind was gone. And then they could make more if needed. As a shudder ran through him, Harry turned to the animatronics, who were now glancing at each other between watching each wizard. I guess that you know who they are now. Rudy was the one who spoke up. They're the kids that went missing that day, aren't they? Aren't they? Trapped in. Though he trailed off, Dumbledore nodded slowly. A child's mind is far more pliable than an adult's. It seems that they were able to adapt to what had happened to them and keep their sanity, though they were forced to do things that they didn't want to do. Nervous, Bonnie looked at Dumbledore as he shook. What are you going to do to us? You're not going to destroy us, are you? Seeing how scared they looked, Dumbledore's eyes softened. Is that what you want? When they shook their heads rapidly, Harry stood up in front of them with his wand in his hands. If you think that our bloody will let you live without a fight, you have another bloody thing coming. A scowl blossomed on McGonagall's face as she stood up as well. Mr. Potter, you realize that any magic that you would use would alert the ministry, and with your current relationship with them, they would not hesitate to expel you from school due to underage magic. If anything, Harry's expression hardened as he glared at his head of house at school. Just bloody try me. For them, I'll do it. However, just as McGonagall seemed to be building herself up for what would be for her rant. Dora reached out and grasped her arm. Shocked, she turned to see him watching Harry, and how, besides Rose, the others were behind him as if seeking protection. No one said anything about actually destroying them, Harry, my boy. I was just asking them what they wanted, that is all. His eyes twinkled a bit as Harry relaxed some. To actually destroy them, I feel, would be murder. After all, they are not much different in a sense from vampires or ghosts are. Dumbledore then smiled and gestured at the pizza. Besides, it would be a crime to never again taste such delicious pizza. With the tension now gone, Harry laughed as the smiling headmaster took a bite of his life. Meanwhile, Chica clapped her hands. Oh, thank you! Not too long later, the adults left, though Harry had a private chat with the two remaining marauders before they left. As he flopped into his seat, Harry scratched his head with an explosive sigh. Well, at least that went as well as could be expected. I now know what's going on. You guys are safe. All's right with the world. Chica nodded. And you know what this calls for? The group beside her shared a look before they spoke, as one of the same deadpan tone. Baking pizza. She just nodded though and snapped a finger. Baking pizza! A smile crossed Harry's face as he glanced at each animatronic and chuckled. Just as the starry skies above opened up, Harry opened the doors to the pizzeria and walked inside. Ugh, I would hate to be outside on a night like this. He gave a glance out the window and grimaced as sheets of rain that blanketed everything. The low areas of the parking lot were already filling with water. Bloody hell! With a shrug, though, the teenage wizard threw his jacket onto the chair of his office and set down the box. At least you didn't get wet. Harry then chuckled as he dragged his box down to the party room and set it on one of the tables before he grinned at the animatronics. I got a gift for you guys. Hopefully you'll enjoy them. Stretching some, he looked towards the kitchen after checking his watch. Still got 15 minutes before shift starts. Might as well do a check then. He looked up at the stage and winked, and no peeking from You bunch to see what I brought you. A laugh escaped Harry as he noticed that their eyes narrowed in puzzlement. You'll find out soon enough. However, he jumped a bit as there was a crash of thunder that shook the building, and the wind began to howl as he could hear more thunder in the distance. At least we got emergency power if the power goes out. At one stage, Chica watched as Harry walked up to his room, or she looked back at the bag. You need the box. But oh well. Oh, I want to know what he's got us. Want it now. She could have. She would have sniffed a little bit. 15 minutes is going to feel like forever. Meanwhile, Bonnie had different thoughts running through his mind. The peal of thunder shook the building as thus storm raged outside. What? Okay. Get back soon, Harry. I hate thunderstorms. By the time that it was done, it was a minute before midnight, and Harry sat down on a chair. Soon enough, once they could fully move, Chica leapt off the stage and rushed over with a gleeful expression. What you got us? What you got us? Huh? Huh? Laughing lightly, Harry gently shoved her away before he reached in and pulled out a newspaper wrapped gift. Just one moment, Chica. He went for the monitors as he called out, Hey, Foxy, got something for you. A moment later, his aunt materialized as Foxy joined the group. Puzzled, the fox looked at the gift. Now what be this now? What? Now what be this now? Okay. Still smiling, Harry gently shoved the rat box towards them. Why not a rabbit in the sea? Just one thing, though. Harry waited till they were all listening, but he could see Chica twitching as she wanted to unwrap it. This is for all of you to enjoy. Understood? This they all just unwrapped it before they gasped. As Freddie lifted out the mass of room paper. It's a stereo. As he softly smiled at the happy looks, Harry shrugged. I forgot that you guys want to listen to something other than the same songs over and over, so I got you guys that, and a bunch of music tapes to play. Or you can listen to the radio. A few seconds later, he gasped as he listened into the air by all 5 animatronics and hugged tightly. Thank you, thank you, thank you! Grimacing a little, Harry still smiled some as he patted them on the back. You're all welcome. Once they let him down, he coughed a bit as he caught his breath before he gestured back at the box. That's not all I got you guys. Freddie stepped forward and noticed some other boxes in the bag. Oh, it was the bag, okay. There were just boxes in the bag. You didn't have to do that, Harry. It is your money, after all. All the wizard did was shrug. Maybe, but I find spending some money to make my friends happy is a wonderful feeling, to say the least. He then passed out the other boxes, which had their wrap torn off, and Harry was starting to point at the items. Now then, that one would be the tapes. I got a bunch of them for you guys. Those boxes, there are. He got interrupted by excited Bonnie, who jumped a bit. They're Game Boys! I don't believe it! At the looks, he chuckled shyly. I've seen some of the kids playing with them times, and always wanted to try one. Harry just shook his head with a grin. Well, they're a bit used, but still work perfectly. Got some games with them for you guys as well, for whenever you want to play them. He then gestured at another box that was unwrapped. There's a bunch of novels in there for you to read if you want. With a hungry look, Freddie began to sort through the books, which caused Harry to chuckle. He was brought back to earth, though, by his aunt, who sang. As much as I would hate to ruin the moment, and trust me, I really do, but what are we going to do about keeping the starve in the dark? I have no doubt that they would take the stuff for themselves in a moment. While he rubbed his jaw with the top of his hook, Foxy nodded. You bring up a good point, lass. But I think that old Foxy be having a solution to the problem. Noticing the other animatronics had hopeful expressions as they turned to him, Foxy gestured back to the cove. Me cove has an old treasure chest with a false bottom. He used to store candy in there for all the little children back in the day. He shook off the familiar melancholy and continued. It be empty except for dust now, and I not see anyone check for years now. Be a perfect place to hide our booty. Some cleaning. Ark. Leaping into the air, she shouted, You know what this calls for? A party! She then grinned as she swung one arm in front of her and bent some. Give me about 20 minutes and I'll have some pizza ready. And with that, she rushed for the kitchen as Harry shook his head. Then he turned to the others with a smile. In the meantime, let's get this stereo set up since I got some batteries for it. He said batteries. We're lucky Bloom Boy's not here. Otherwise, those batteries would be gone. Anyway, as he polished off his slice of pizza as the various animatronics enjoyed the stereo, Harry nearly choked as he heard a conversation between Bunny and Chica. The two were dancing separately on the party room floor before the bunny rolled his eyes as he caught sight of what Chica was doing. A chicken dance? Really? Chica huffed a bit as the red lights inside her cheeks came on to give the appearance of blush. Don't judge me. After he found his chest so from choking, Harry took a quick drink of soda to calm down before he looked over at the concerned Freddy. I'm okay. Quickly wiping his mouth, he signed and got up. I'm just going to head over to the supply closet and grab some cleaning stuff for later when we clean up the storage area in the cove. Slowly, Freddy nodded as he watched Rose doing, of all things, the robot, which nearly set Harry off again. My God. You got Chica chicken doing chicken dance, and then you got freaking animatronic ghost doing the robot. My God. Anyway, sure, you do that, and I'll hold the fort here. Then he noticed something and blinked. What in the hell are you doing, Foxy? The pirate blinked and looked at him. What do you mean? I'd be doing a sailor dance. Both Harry and Freddy shared a look, decided to keep that looked like Foxy was malfunctioning and spasm and all over the place himself. Yeah. Let's tell him he can't dance. That's bad for his I forgot the word. It'd be bad for him. Anyway, then Harry shook his head and coughed into one hand. Right. I'll be back. He left the party room with a big grin as the others took notice of Foxy and just stared at him. Just as he reached the supply closet, though, he heard something and turned towards the door in time for a lightning flash to illuminate someone's silhouette at the door. Someone there? There was another flash, and he could hear pounding on the door's sound of the store. Hey, is anyone in there? For a moment, Harry considered his options. I've seen enough horror movies to know what happens next. He blinked for a moment to hear, as he could hear music from the party room. Then again, haunted animatronics that kill people. They're practically in a horror movie as it is. So, having decided, Harry walked towards the door and upon reaching it, shined his flashlight through it and could see a young woman a few years older than himself who checked back in front. We're closed, you know. From the entering sarcastic shout, Harry guessed that she was a little bit annoyed with it. You think? The fact that the Sciencesaurus is closed might have been a big clue, you know. After a second, the woman banged her forehead on the door with a sigh. Can I come in and use your phone, please? My car broke down. I need to call for a lift from a friend. Shaking his head, Harry unlocked the door. Sure, I don't see a problem with that. He had to hold on to the door as he opened it, though, as the store outside threatened to grab it before smashing it into the wall. Come in. With a thankful sigh, the woman quickly came in before Harry closed and secured the door. Hey, thanks for that. I really appreciate you letting me use your phone. As Harry was about to smile at her, he noticed that Laura was practically straining for her clothes. Give me a second. Since his office was just a few meters away, he quickly darted inside as the woman rubbed her arms. I didn't know I was going to make it here for my shift before the sun broke, so I brought a towel to dry myself off, just in case. Harry then reappeared with a towel in hand that he handed to the woman. Here. Thankful, the woman took it and began to dry it off. Thanks. That? She stopped for a moment and blinked before she slapped her head. Right, sorry for that. The woman then held out one hand to Harry. How much shall? The sound snip. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? While he chuckled, Harry grasped her hand and shook it. Name's Potter. Harry Potter. You're not James Bond Putty. And I'm the night watchman here. The snort escaped Michelle as she went back to drying off. And how long have you been waiting to use that line? With a smile, Harry shrugged. For a while now. Part of Harry noticed how her wet clothes clung to her figure before he shook it off. but well done. So, tourist then? Having got a strange look, he rubbed the back of his neck. Your accent sounds like you're from the States. Marcel just smiled and shook her head though. No, I'm studying here in the UK. But I was born here before my parents left for the US, where I grew up. For a moment, she looked him up and down before she hummed. Huh, you look rather young for a night watchman. Seeing the annoyance on his face, she held it in one hand as she cleaned the water out of her ear. I don't mean anything. It's just that my dad, when he told me some horror stories, is all. And just like that, Harry's annoyance vanished and he chuckles. Yeah, I can understand that. Getting a raised eyebrow from her, he shakes his head. The horror story bits. Anyways, it's just a summer job, you know. To his relief, she smiles back. Yeah, I know. There was a silence as the two stood there in the hallway and stared at each other before Michelle cleared her throat. So, about that phone. She confirmed her chance. Harry nodded and gestured for her to follow. My office is right over here. You can use a phone there to call someone. Still drying her hair, Michelle missed how most of the office looked as she walked in and spied the phone. As she walked over to it, she called back over her shoulder. Do I need to dial anything to an outside line? After Harry told her which number, she started to dial. I thought you said that you were closed. At this, Harry blinked. Huh? Well, yeah, we're closed right now. However, part of him was paying more attention at something else as she bent over to use the phone. Harry, no. Dear sweet darling, those hips. God damn it. Ah, those hips don't lie, buddy. Hips don't lie. A snot shook him from his thoughts as he refocused. I can hear music blasting from here. Rapidly, Harry searched his mind for a cue. Yeah, I said some noise at night, so I brought a radio to listen to. Best place to hear it throughout the building, you know. He was pretty thankful that she brought it, though, as she nodded. Huh, makes sense. Suddenly, she brightened. Lisa, it's Michelle. Look, my car broke down. I need a lift. What? What do you mean Erica has your car and won't be by until the storm calms down? Oh, damn it. Michelle then sighed as she ran a hand through her still damp hair. Where am I? Some strip mall in Little Wing. Which store? 1 second. Let me ask the night watchman. She turned her head a little. Which store is this? With a shrug, Harry answered her. Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria. Nodding, Michelle turned back to the phone. Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria. In the next second, if Harry could have seen it, her face turned from bleh, her face turned from relaxed to horrified as the name registered. In fact, she barely answered her friend's next word. Yeah, I'll wait for you guys to pick me up. However, Harry noticed that she seemed to be shaking as she set the phone down, so he got up from where he had been leaning against this desk. Hey, you okay? You look cold or something. He blinked as she grabbed him and got up into his face. Freddy Fazbear's? Harry nodded, and she brought her face close to his. Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria, which has animatronics? Once more, he nodded as she brought her face close enough that they were nearly touching. Animatronics that killed night guards? It was then that Harry's eyes narrowed as he brought his hands up and gripped her upper arms. How do you know about that? Slightly hyperly, Michelle searched his face as she gulped and whispered, Remember how I said that my dad had horror stories from his time as the night watchman? For a brief moment, Harry was confused before his eyes widened. Yeah, he worked here back in the 70s before they fired him. Before Harry could say anything, though, there was a sound of heavy footsteps behind Michelle, which caused her to stiffen before Chica's voice could be heard. What are you doing, Harry? Freddy wants to know where the cleaning supplies are. Got them freezer ready. Ooh, what's this? Shakingly, Michelle turned Chica in the doorway with a grin. Harry, you didn't tell me about your bring girlfriend? And were you about to kiss? A whimper escaped Laura's mouth as she watched Chica enter this with a glance given to the door button. Harry, meanwhile, realized exactly what it looked like they were doing. Before he could say anything, Michelle leapt forward, having forgotten that he was in front of her. The results, needless to say, were expected as the two went down giggled of lanes. Considering the position they ended up on the floor, Harry thought that he was about to be slapped due to where his face was. A slap that never came Michelle then noticed two metal feet in front of her. Two metal feet that she slowly followed up as they became mechanical legs. Finally, her eyes met that of a giant fox as he flipped his eye patch with his hook to better see her. Aye, why did you never tell us that you bring a lass tonight? Foxy blinked as she gave a whimper before her eyes rolled back into her head and she went limp. Eh? With a whimp, Miss Chief walked into the office and leaned down. Are you okay, Harry? A moment later, Harry held up his hand and raised an index finger before he pointed at the chicken. Scratching her head, Chica shrugged. I think you said that you're okay. She then nodded as the finger jerked around. Right. Slightly confused, Chica ignored how Foxy was using the curved of his hook to move the woman's limp head around, like a king poking something with a stick. She then leaned out of the office door. Hey, Freddy, Bunny, bring some of those smelling salt thingies. I think that we need them since Harry's girlfriend fainted at the sight of Foxy's ugly mug. That caused Foxy's head to snack up. Oi! From his position under Michelle's limp body, Harry just sighed. This looks like it's gonna be a long night. And that's the end of the chapter. Oh my god. Okay. So if you didn't guess, Michelle is the daughter of Michael Smith from the first game. So, and oh my god, I'm so happy that's over. That was a lot. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this chapter. If you did, leave a like. Be sure to subscribe. Comment down below if you want to hear more or this story, or if you want me to keep reading. What was the other one? Expect the Unexpected, which has Ruby and her chaoticness. She's just awesome, by the way. Or if you want me to do a narrative story that has nothing to do with FNAF, I can try and find something. What else? Also be sure to follow my Twitter, link to that in the description below as well. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow with a new video. Bye!